afternoon, everybody. I'm Tony Pellegrino, and we're obviously here over in the Motorsports shop today. This is part of a tech talk that we do on Facebook live every Tuesday and Thursday. This being March 2nd. Wow, already March. So anyways, you guys have been looking for updates from the shop. We're over here with our Aftershock LJ, with the Growler YJ. We got all kinds of stuff going on. So we're going to start out by showing you a couple of products we haven't talked about before. One is a brand new update to our inner fender well for the TJ and the YJ. We added in the little grill. We've done this for a while on the JKs, the JLs. We finally went back and did it on the TJ and the YJ, giving you a little bit of perforated panel to let some heat out or cool air in, either way with a little GR logo. What's unique about this one is if you don't want the GR logo, you can take this off and it'll just be the perforated. So depending on what other branding you have around this, that way you don't have too much going on. Look pretty cool. These inner fender wells are just a few pieces. They're really simple. And we also offer these in high fender versions we're going to show you over on Jamie's. The other product that I wanted to show you was our license plate mount for the JL. And we could actually walk over there. Can we head over that way and check it out? Cool. So on the JL, it came with these giant vents on the back. These are rubber, and these are made so that when you slam a door, these will open and it doesn't pressurize the cab. This little plate goes on here nicely. It includes all the stainless steel hardware you need to mount it up, and your license plate mounts on here. It's got this cool little slot to put an LED third brake light and license plate light. So pretty nice. We'll be mounting this up here on our JL pretty quickly, but it's something we haven't talked about before, and I just wanted to show you how it all works on the JL. It looks real nice, so pretty cool. All right, so let's start out over here. We'll give Jamie and Richard a little more time on the Growler. We'll start out over here, and I'll give you an update on where we're at with our JL build. Check this out. This is actually really cool. Right now you can see the factory frame side by side with our frame, and our frame is already set up with all the coilover shock mounts, the double triangulated 4-link rear, 3-link front. So we haven't given you guys this up close of a look yet to what this thing looks like. So today Darren moved the motor over. He's moving the wire harness. We're going to leave all this factory electric bullshit steering over on that old frame. And we're putting on true hydro assist with a real pump steering over on this new frame. And like I talked about before, this one includes a very uniquely shaped bumper. And that is exactly the size you need for a winch. So this has got the maximum amount of clearance built into this thing, and the grill comes down. You know, it's everything about this has been optimized. Come around this side, and you can see how optimized we did the track bar mount. Everything's modified and made just to give us the absolute amount of clearance. Same here. Inside the inner fender well with all the stock equipment underneath the hood. There's not room for much. And then now, before when I showed you guys the frame, I didn't have the front cross member in, but now that's in, the transmission mounts in. This is how everything goes, just like this. We've already moved over the body mounts. I mean, this is one day away from being underneath the Jeep and ready to rock and roll. So we're really excited about this. You can see everything over here is prepped and ready to go, and we're ready to just drop the whole thing down on top of there. So if you didn't get to see this before, we took another section of this frame, we laid it in here and then Frenched in a 2-inch receiver hitch, which has also been modified for maximum departure angle. So, and all of this sits inside the body. The body's actually out here, so this has all been maximized. And then, of course, we're putting one of our gas tanks in here as well. So, a lot to see, very exciting. I think Alex is going to attempt to read me a couple of questions.
Going back to the YJ fenders, they asked if the vents come in the high fenders.
They do, yes. In fact, we're going to show you that on Jamie's. They're really, really cool. So, and we made it so that if you have coilovers, that vent is far enough forward so that when you trim it out, you can still have the vent. What else you got?
Dennis Sargent, why doesn't Jeep just get with you guys and do it right the first
time? I don't know. No, actually I do know. So several years ago, I went back to Jeep and they showed me how, in order for them to comply with all the safety requirements, you know, to sell Jeeps to the public, they've got a bunch of mileage requirements, safety requirements, because they know if they don't meet all those requirements, your wife is not going to let you buy the Jeep. So they want to make sure that they can do all that, and then they're happy there's guys like me that come in and like just rip it all out and do it the right way. So yeah, I guess that's how I justify my existence. And by the way, thanks everybody for joining us today. I know you've all wanted to get back over here in the shop and, you know, see what's going on. So, you know, ask questions away. We've got the whole hour to just, you know, show you cool stuff. So,
one request to repeat questions as I asked them because I don't have the mic on. But the next one was, are we going to EJS?
We are going to EJS. Right now, what you see is going to be there. So we are hauling right now to get this done. And those are the, actually the axles are over there now. They've moved stuff around on me, but the axles were right there. So the next thing that'll happen is they're going to get this underneath here. They're going to get the axles underneath it. I know I saw the shocks for this come over here today. So yeah, they're really going to town on this right now. And I know the gas tank, I saw that in the next room getting welded. So yeah, this, you know, you're right here in the epicenter of where everything happens for sure.
What size coilovers is the JL frame designed for? 14s or 16s? Yeah,
so these are going to be 3.0 IBPs, 14-inch travel. And the front, I'm going to run 12s. That's the exact same thing that I have on the Terremoto. And we did make a version of this with 14s, but it requires a lot of concessions, meaning you got to move all this stuff. So Alex, if you scrouch down here, there's a lot of stuff on both the driver's side and the passenger side. And I want to show you, you know, all the factory stuff has little bolts that stick down like this. Those towers come up so tight that we had to trim anything that hung down on both sides because we're right there. I guarantee you we have maximized every single millimeter of space out of this thing. So, yeah, don't worry. The thing will still ramp over 1,000 with this shock setup. So, and the geometry is all right. So with the double triangulated in the front and the front 3-link, you know, you're not getting any walking with the rear end. This is an improvement on what we've already perfected with the JK Elite. So this is really, really nice.
What size gas tank is going in the JL?
This will have a 25-gallon gas tank. Lots of good questions. I like it.
With the Elite kit, we'll still be able to use the original frame.
Not on the JL. Nope, that's it right there. So the original frame is a throwaway. Hear me loud and clear. Throwaway. This is, if you've never seen one of these, Like it is thin as a tin can. Hopefully you can hear that over the microphone. They're, you know, guys, they have to build this. This whole Jeep was built ultra lightweight. They saved 800 pounds out of this Jeep over the JK. They had to take material out to meet the requirements for mileage and other things. So, you know, if all you want to do is put it in four-wheel drive and go to the mountains and go skiing, this thing's perfect. But if you want to do any more than that, this ain't going to hang. So, not long term. And forget about welding to it. You know, if you got ideas of putting some long arm kit on here, yeah, no.
Peter Doolin, what about crumple zones and crush can support? How will this work with airbag deployment sensors, etc.?
Yeah, so all of that stuff is still intact, the sensors and everything. You know, the reality is when we do a lot of these off-road vehicles, especially the more hardcore ones, we disable a lot of the airbags and those things because we don't want them going off as we hit stuff going off-road. This frame is a lot stronger. Yeah, whatever you hit is going to get destroyed. So it's like building a race car. Yes, the way it is.
Laura Robinson, do the new JL flares line up with the OEM Rubicon flare height on the JL project? They look lower than the hood latches.
They are a little bit lower, but what's deceiving is this. You know, this is really thick, right? So our fenders are level with the bottom, right? So, yeah, it's hard to tell. You know, it's just because they build this so thick. And we've already gutted this. You know, we've already taken out the inner fender. But yeah, don't let this fool you because it's super thick.
Abraham Yan, did you guys mount the corner guards on the JLU with the round lights?
We have not yet. I was hoping to get to that today, but I have not done that yet.
Juan Jose Correa, hi guys, I'm wondering what are the temperatures that you are expecting in the YJ with the LS swap? That just posted on Instagram. I swapped an LS 408 on a YJ and I am having temperature issues with twice bigger CBR radiator and two S14 inch.
Well, let's walk over there and talk about that because I'll bet I can help you identify your problem right quick. So when it comes to temperature issues after you've done a V8 swap, it is almost always because of this. What people don't do is they don't understand that air takes the path of least resistance. So if you notice, this is wide open up here. So the air is just going to hit here and hit the radiator and go somewhere else. So all of this, they've already sealed off the bottom. So there's a little plate down here. I don't know if you can see that, Alex. See this little plate? Otherwise, this would be wide open and the air would just cascade down around the radiator. So this particular one is built with mounts that come over and seal off the sides. But still, even areas like this where air can get around, all of those have to be sealed off or air will get around and it will not cool properly. So that's a super important aspect that you've got to, especially with a V8, take care of.
Dave Rupert, can we hear how solid those JL doors shut?
Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah, if you haven't seen these, now these are set up, they're equipped with our aftermarket armrests and our door bags right now. So that makes it real nice, so you've got extra storage in there. But yeah, they closed, sounds like factory. So yeah, that's really nice. And you don't even have to slam them. I mean, it's a nice shut. So, and then these, we used our aftermarket billet hinges instead of taking the ones off the factory doors. That way you can just drop the factory doors. And I heard that my mirrors came over here today. Oh, this is them right here. So I bought a set, if I can get them out of here, of factory style mirrors because I knew this was going to be the next thing that people asked. And hopefully I opened up the right side. No, I did not. Let me grab the other one. But we left a nice spot. So, you know, the factory mirrors on a JL have heaters and side detection in them and all kinds of stuff. So I just picked up an inexpensive pair of mirrors that look like the factory style. And these will just bolt right on. So we got a nice spot for them right there, and that'll give you that nice factory look. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be sharp, and they offer this in a gloss or a matte or chrome. I mean, you can get them any way you want, but yeah, that'll work out great to just put those right on. So I'll probably mount those up tomorrow. What else you got?
How does the durability of that frame compare to a TJ/LJ frame? I'm not sure which one he's
Well, it's way more durable. So a factory frame is only, in fact, we've got one out here. A factory frame is only 1/8 inch thick. Oh, we might. Okay, so a factory frame is only 1/8 inch thick. That's why Jamie went with an aftermarket frame, because it's 3/16 thick, like that one over there. However, the JL is a 3x6 box instead of a, like 2x3 or something. So it's a much bigger box frame.
Peter, are you going to everyman challenge it in it next year?
I don't know about that. I'll probably do it with a bunch of customers that want to run in but I'll do it in the Terremoto. Yeah. And if you've never been over here in the shop, this is also where we build our roll cages as well. So we've got a fixture right here that allows us to put the cage in here and build it. So this is all sized exactly the same as a perfect Jeep. So all built off the CAD model, and then we're able to build, this is an LJ cage right here. So yeah, just kind of a cool behind the scenes. Check that out as well. Back over to the YJ.
Any plans to run an Atlas on the JL?
Well, I'd love to, but they still haven't figured out how to make it work. So when they do, then we can do that. So this is the new grill that we were talking about on the inner fender. So Jamie's already gotten his red GR put in there. And by the way, this is a TJ high fender on a YJ fender, YJ vehicle altogether. So Richard and Jamie decided they wanted to use this little step because it gives you a bunch of room to mount stuff, inside. And obviously, the whole thing, you can trim it for coilover shocks or whatever you want to do, but it really works out nice with our fenders in there. Gives you a nice clean look.
What size tires are you going to run on the JL, and do you think 42-inch tires are too much for an ultimate Dana 60 axle?
I do think they're too much. 42s is like a whole nother realm. And if you want to learn about how easy it is to break stuff, just run 42s and you'll find out. And I mean a real 42, not a tire that says 42 or 43 and measures 40 or 41, a real 42. So, but yeah, I'm going to run 40s on the JL.
Is the JT frame similar to the JLU frame material weak?
Yes. Yes, it is. Basically, you can see it too, right here. So from here forward is the same as JL. From here back is where they grafted on the rear section. So, yep. Yep, so the whole front's exactly the same. Yep.
Jim Farmer, can you use factory door latches?
On the half doors, yes, you absolutely can. And we've got these. These come in silver or black on our website, but the factory, we just did it so like this, Alex, so that you can just pop the door back on real quick. Because otherwise, if you move these, you're going to have to readjust the whole door. It's a giant project. Now, if you happen to like the look of this, you can just go to the dealer and get more and put them on. They're not going to be much cheaper, I can tell you that.
Dwayne Lewis, do you have any JLU roll cages not already taken that's already welded up that I can order and get?
No, not yet. I know. That's a popular question.
JC Corneo, will the doors come with the pre-drilled holes to mount the mirrors?
No, I was going to leave those because on mine, I intend to use this kind of mirror. Get it open. Oh, it's already sealed. I got some. I'm going to use a smaller bubble style mirror from Scosche. And these are really nice. Let's see if I can get them out of here. And what I intend to do is remove this part. So that part normally has a clamp that would go on the cage. And then I'm going to mount it just like this, up on top, on this little flat spot right here on top. So you could, this also comes apart, like you can unscrew this. There's a big screw inside here. And you could even mount that, straight on. So you get a couple of choices, but I was just going to go for up here because I wanted it to swing out of the way if I hit it. So that was the idea.
Do you sell those mirrors?
Yes. Yeah, these are the Scosche mirrors, and they're $99 a pair. And you can find them on our website. They box looks like that. That's what they look like on the website. So they're a great mirror. I run them on everything we have. These are actually for Jamie's Growler. He'll be putting those on here shortly.
Abraham Yan, how can we mount the original soundbar in the GenRight cage?
You can do it. It just takes a little bit of work. What you do is you get a drum sander that's the same diameter as the cage tube, and you just, basically carve it down into the plastic, which doesn't take much, by the way, and then you can fit that right to the cage. So it takes a little bit of work, but I've seen plenty of people do it.
Will you offer a full install for the JL Elite in your shop?
Yes. In fact, I would imagine the first dozen will probably be done here.
John Condit, just watched your tech talk about building Jeeps for 35, saw the gear ratio chart and got curious with my ratio. 99 Jeep TJ on 35s, had a shop rear gear to 488, I'm running at around 250 RPM at 60 miles an hour, and at 3,000, about 70 miles an hour. Does that sound about right? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it depends, I never know if somebody's got an automatic, a stick, the stick in 6th gear has a really tall overdrive, so 488 is a better choice in that case. What are the best 40s for a J kit considering weight and rock crawling along with street driving daily? Use my first name, Frank.
Well, when you're looking to put 40s on a vehicle for daily driving, what you're looking for is something that's going to have a reasonably flexy sidewall and not too heavy. So what happens is the hardcore off-road guys are looking for, super durable sidewalls. But what happens is those are stiff, and that makes the tire really heavy. So Mickey Thompson has done a great job with finding a good, flexible 3-ply sidewall. I know the Goodyears had the same kind of construction sidewall, and BF Goodrich. So a lot of the good name brand tires are going to have that. It's only when you start veering off and getting the other tires that are too heavy.
Scott Huntel, so can I bring my 2-door JL and you guys can do the same thing with JLU? Yeah, we're not even close to touching a 2-door JL. The Gladiator will be next, and then the 2-door JL would be after that. So I would venture to say that puts the 2-door JL a year from now. We are all caught up for right now.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we touched a little bit on stuff over there, but since we have this Gladiator here, I did want to take a moment and show you guys, you know, this is the normal bumper, right, that comes down and protects the Rubicon sway bar, and that's really important. And then you can see how these flares, you know, these are our flares that we were talking about a minute ago on here, are tucked in and really allow a lot of clearance. These are 37s on here, so there's plenty of clearance for that. So, and our inner fender well, again with the little GR, you know, just like we were showing you over here. Let's actually go back over to the Growler and kind of walk around that and get more of an update on that. So, you know, this started out as an 87 Jeep Wrangler YJ, and since then, you know, the frame was trashed, so they got an aftermarket frame, a heavy-duty aftermarket frame that was basically for an LJ, yeah. So it was LJ length, right? And then Jamie and Richard retrofitted the YJ tub on here and extended it with LJ corner guards. Now, in that process, there's a piece, like about a 12-inch piece of this part of the body right here that came in. Otherwise, it's all just LJ corner guards. And then it also runs our Tracer mini boat side rocker guards. So it's got the nice long dimple die step. So when you get up on there, you got plenty of traction. And then you can see how, you know, it's got all of our Tracer frame brackets, you know, shock mounts, everything. It's double triangulated in the back. It's got the big R1 brakes, 2.5 IBP King coilovers with air bumps. And these are not extended right now because there's no air in them. A lot of the time when we're building it, we like to do everything at full compression. And then Jamie took an LJ fastback cage and morphed on the YJ front tubes so it would fit in the YJ. And then as part of that, we developed the aluminum YJ dash, and you can see it's partially installed. They're doing all the wiring right now. So, you know, it has the iPad mini in the middle, 7-inch Lowrance on the side, the Holley gauge display. It's got the rugged race radio and intercom, switch pros. It's got the gate style shifter, Atlas transfer case, you know, drink holders, all the plugs you need, battery cutoffs. It's going to get our steering wheel quick release built in there. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff. And this is also set up for our aluminum roof as well.
What's the durability of the stock TJLJ frame?
It's okay. You know, basically the way it worked was if you stayed with 2-inch coilovers, you could make one of those last for a while. But as soon as you want to start going faster or hitting bigger stuff that a 2.5 or a 3.0 gives you the ability to do, that frame's not going to hold up.
Laura Robinson, tell us about your EJS plans. How can we wheel with you guys and talk Jeeps?
That's a good question. I only Friday decided that I'm going. So beyond that, I haven't made any plans. But I will definitely make sure that in one of these I'll detail. But we are there to talk to everybody, show them Jeeps, talk Jeeps. And obviously this year is going to be a little bit different. Normally we throw a big party. We're not allowed to do that. I'm trying to decide whether I want to go over and you know, display over at Dixie. So I'm just haven't figured that out yet. So
we will go to Zach's and have pizza though.
We will go to Zach's. But while we're there, unless they want to stand upstairs and talk to us, I'm not going to be down talking Jeeps. I'll be drinking beer.
John Condon, do you offer full installs for TJ suspension in your shop?
We do. The waiting list is long, I can tell you that. And you have to do it our way. If you want anything different, we won't touch it.
Dave Rupert, what is your preferred way to trace out corners to cut I have to do some LJ corners and I'm nervous.
Ah, that's a good question. So what I do is I take a piece of angle iron and I cut it to the diameter or the length of what would be the height of my tire. I tape a Sharpie to that and I fully articulate this and rotate it. Oh, Richard's got a little, there you go. So you throw that on there, right? So it fits right on the hub. You hold a Sharpie and you just wrap it around.
At full bump, one side up.
Yep. So there you go. It's that simple, really. And then you get the exact arc, and when you put your wheel on and articulate it, it'll clear perfectly. Yep.
Yeah, when you're at full bump, articulate it like that.
Yep. And I usually leave, about 3/4 of an inch extra, so because you got to remember your tire is flat, right? And it's wider than this piece of string that we were just showing you. So when it comes in, it's going to have a little bit of width to it. So you just want to leave a little extra.
He said perfect. Joshua, will you do more JL armor like corners, etc.?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, the JL corners are over there someplace. I just haven't put them on yet. We're going to give you lots of JL updates. Really, now that the frame is done and we're transferring stuff over and getting it going, it's really going to move fast with Easter Jeep Safari Red around the corner.
Favorite jigsaw or plasma cutter to cut the corners?
I like a jigsaw with a metal blade. Yeah, forget plasma. Honestly, I don't like plasma cutters for anything. They make a giant mess. You spend a ton of time going back and cleaning up all the mess, and you put a lot of heat into it. So and if you're not careful, what you're cutting off, the plasma can go and damage all the stuff that you didn't want to touch. So I always want to be super careful on that.
Anthony Paquette, have you thought about trying to fit the Genesis off-road dual battery tray in your JL build?
It crossed my mind the other day when I was talking about it, but now that I've seen how little room is under the hood, I'm looking for other places to put those batteries. And I might do like this, like little tiny Odysseys. Do dual little ones that maybe I can put underneath and get them, like totally out of the way and keep the center of gravity really low. Yeah, Alex is showing you the fuel pump. So this is the dual Phantom pump, right? So there's 2 fuel pumps built inside here. You can see the hookups here. For the second one, it's not connected right now, but there's the first one. And they're just doing all the wiring. And you can see how nicely it's all plumbed with AN fittings and braided steel line. So this is one of those access plates that we're always talking to you guys about. So you can do all this without having to drop the tank. It's pretty nice. And then this is a kit that we will be offering, that you can do to finish up. So basically, the entire sheet metal got cut out of here. And what's totally cool is that these upper plates hook in through the corner guards. So these same bolts hold the whole inner fender on here. So it's very, very clever how we did this, and super clean and easy.
John Miller, are you going to do the Veteran Trail Day at EJS?
I don't know. I don't know. When I get to Easter Jeep Safari, there's a lot of people tugging on my sleeve. I've got customers, ambassadors, I got other industry people, I've got sponsors. I got so many people that I need to make happy while we're there, so it's tough.
How much is the JL Elite kit, as you showed us? Need to know how much I need to save.
Well, we're still working out the exact numbers, but I'm going to guess that rolling. So keep in mind, I wouldn't sell you just a frame. It's a system. So you got to buy the control arms, the axles, the shocks, everything. Even, every single thing we do, those shocks have a certain spec, not only for the valving, but how the hoses are run, what spring rates are going to run. We've got all that stuff figured out. So, you know, why cause yourself brain damage when you don't have to? That's all part of the reason you'd buy something from GenRight.
Val would like to know how Jamie ran the battery cables to the engine bay. She needs to move the ones on Olive from out under the hood.
Ah, very good. Do you want to talk about that, Richard? How you got those posts and?
So a lot of speed shops and everything, they have, around here you probably see the best.
Oh yeah.
They have through the firewall, you can kind of see them down there,
Is it the? Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
posts.
That red piece with
that
the threads.
have a post on both sides, and then they're insulated in between. So it makes it real convenient to put something through the firewall.
Yeah. A lot of people refer to those as bulkheads.
Bulkheads,
Right.
bulkhead fittings.
So, so there's another post on the inside, right?
Yeah.
So it goes straight through the firewall, but it's completely insulated. And then there's a big cable that runs over to the big on-off switch, and then a small cable back over to the battery.
So here's a brand new one from Summit. You can see. This is the-
Yeah. There you go.
So you drill a big hole, put it in there, screw it in, and you got a post on both sides of the firewall.
But it's properly insulated so you're not arc welding.
Yeah.
Because trust me, it will.
Brett asks, should we expect the JK half door's price point to be comparable to the JL?
Well, it all depends. When I came out with these, honestly, I thought they were a little bit thick, and that price point is reflecting how thick the aluminum is. Now, it gives it that nice solid sound, but you know, if people were willing to settle for the thinner doors like Savvy or JCR's making, then the price point can be lower. Yep.
Tony, are you doing TDS?
I'm not. No, we got way too many projects going on around here. Way too many.
I know it's not tow rated, and I can't expect you to give me a number, but how much tow capacity do you think that bumper with the step and the receiver may be able to tow?
That whole setup will far exceed whatever the motor can do. I can tell you that. That's stronger than what's on my 2500 pickup truck. You'll destroy the rest of the vehicle. But I don't suggest. I'm not going to rate it for anything, but I can guarantee you that, yeah, we're talking about not even putting tow points on the back of the Jeep, because you can put one of those worn things in there and rip your heart out. So, good luck on that.
2021 JL 4-door V6 e-torque, will the Elite suspension frame have a spot for the lithium battery?
Don't know yet. I mean, that's part of the reason that we're doing the first several here. So the next one after this is the 392. Then I think that's the next one after that. So yeah, basically we've got to work through. The factory does not provide us all the information, so we've got to kind of work through that and find it out as we go and make the mods or brackets or whatever we need to do. And then at some point we'll have enough information that we can deal with all these, you know, different consumer idiosyncrasies.
Greg Minos says keep the doors thicker.
Yeah. Well, so far that's what everybody said, but they just got to realize that that's why they're a little bit more money. Yeah.
Jeff would like to know if Growler's going to be ready for EJS.
Well, they were just talking about that, and I heard no problem. But why don't you come over here, Jamie? Why don't you let them hear it from you? You got the special Growler edition hat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping it could be ready for EJS.
Hoping?
Well, I know it will be. I'm hoping.
There's some commitment.
We had some discussion about it being ready for the next Jeep night.
Oh, that's even sooner.
It's close. 2 weeks.
So
it's really close.
So I'll tell you this. We were just messing around with the electrical. Richard was showing me how everything works. And I got to actually click it and hear the starter crank the motor. So It is very close.
It's
Yeah,
close.
we're down to like just the last few connections, rock lights and that kind of stuff. So it's we're excited to say the least.
I'd say finishing up the wiring and the exhaust would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's close.
Wiring will be done tomorrow.
it looks great. We got to do some plug wires, right?
Yeah.
What are the last few things here?
We gotta do plug wires. We gotta do the exhaust.
Which is the headers are on. You just
the
gotta
headers are on.
put the
we just gotta
muffler
do
on,
exhaust
right?
To the back,
Yeah.
And then obviously just put fluids. in it
Fluids. Fluids are important.
and gas. That's important too.
That's one of the fluids.
Yeah. But no, it's
Oh, and you got a new
that'll
tank.
That'll be here tomorrow. Thursday. So.
Okay. And I would imagine the shocks aren't charged or none of that
No,
stuff.
no,
yet.
that's
Yeah.
charged right now.
So yeah, there's making it fire is not far away, but then all the rest of the details,
Yeah.
getting oil in the
mounts.
diffs, and oh yeah, we still are messing around with seats
I
in
can just
general.
ratchet strap a milk crate.
That would get you a ticket for sure.
Yeah, she's close though.
Yeah, it's looking really, really good. I'm excited.
Some questions about the heat shielding on the
Yeah,
tub.
yeah, DEI heat shield. This is good stuff. So this is, you can barely see the edge here, but it's about 3/16, maybe 1/4 inch thick. And that insulation is a special silicate insulation, which is like a glass. And then this dimple dye aluminum helps to reflect the heat off. So the white stuff does the real insulating, but the aluminum helps to insulate it off. Have we got a piece? Oh yeah, here we go. So we've talked about this on one of the other tech talks, but it feels a little bit like felt, but it's made of a silicate, and which is like glass. And it's super lightweight. If you'll notice, this is just like this on the JL over there because they're having the same thing. There's so much heat generated in the engine compartment to make the fuel burn clean, and you just try and insulate that from the rest of the vehicle. Yep.
Mike Meloche, did I hear Tony correct? Those are high TJ fenders on the Growler?
So these are high YJ fenders with high TJ inner fenders. Yes. And you guys just did some trimming, right? Yeah. So, and then obviously they trimmed around the shock tower, but for the most part,
Which is normal for even a
anything. Yeah. So, and by the way, this stuff comes with a sticky back, so you just, peel it and stick it on there, and it holds up good. So.
Brett Burns, how did the GR raw aluminum bumpers hold up in the Rust Belt Midwest?
Fine. All of the grade of material we're using is a marine grade, and we've even had guys that lived on the coastline that said they just take a piece of our Scotch-Brite and every few months they just buff it up and looks like brand new. It gives it that nice brushed, bright aluminum look. So, yep.
Esther Parrott Newcomb, 94 YJ, what is safer, weld-on or bolt-on seatbelt bar?
Well, the weld-on's always better. A lot of racing, won't even consider having bolt-on stuff. So I realize that a lot of people do the bolt-on because, after the wheeling weekend, they need to be able to go back to regular life and get people in the back seat. So it's better than nothing, I can tell you that. So
Kelly Sims, is Jamie going to have a gas gauge?
no gas gauge. So he'll do like I do. He'll just know the number of miles that he can go on a tank and watch the odometer, and that's that.
So basically, I'll be bringing you guys gas.
Yeah. Now Richard won't carry 5 gallons extra. He'll carry 10.
Colby, what do you think of the tire size capabilities of the JFK Rubicon Recon front housing? It's extremely similar to a Dana Ultimate 44 housing. Jeff thought 35s were a safe bet.
Oh yeah, 35s are safe. 37s are always pushing it, but part of it depends on how you drive, what kind of terrain you're driving, how much you air down. If Look, if you get a locker, a hard locker, and you get ram assist steering, like you got enough there to do some damage, right? You're by doing the ram assist, you've kind of insulated yourself away from like how hard things are actually working. And you go, oh, this is no problem. And you get yourself into some pretty bad situations and bound up, and it's pretty easy to break. So, and what's going to break you is when the wheel breaks loose and then grabs. So you just got to be really aware of that.
Did you put Vision X lights on the JL? How did you wire them for turn signals?
I haven't done anything yet, but there will be. Joe's already called me and said, I got to have Vision X on there. So, yeah, we're going to do, it's going to have, I just saw the tail lights someplace, didn't I?
Right here.
Oh, right here. Yeah, so it'll have, our typical tail light, blinker, backup, side marker on the corner guards. And then we'll do the Vortec conversion on the headlights. So, and then I'll have some nice backup lights in there too.
JC Corneo, so does the half doors come with the hinges, or is that sold separately?
The hinges are separate. It'll come with a little spacer. So by the way, these hinges are actually made to fit on your factory doors. Okay, but if you look at the factory door, see how it's got this little bump out built into it? So your doors, your new half doors will come with a spacer that is that equivalent that goes, whether it's the factory hinge or our aftermarket hinge, will go behind that, and that puts the door in the right position. Good question. And a lot of it has to do with, Alex, if you go back to the front, a lot of it has to do with getting the door to follow this arc that's built in the body. There's a really slight radius built into the body compared to, like an older Jeep.
Would you recommend wrapping the headers and exhaust systems to get the heat out of the LT1 swap on Jeep JK?
Yes. So I'm a fan. You need to, if you're going to put something like that in, even Jamie, header's got to be wrapped. Everything's got to be wrapped. The heat is not your friend. We just had this conversation about the batteries. When you look under the hood on that JL, I just told you guys the spec for a battery is 174 degrees. Well, your under hood temps are easily 100 degrees higher than that. So, yeah.
Eric, are there any plans for the Jeep Gladiator gas tank being mounted behind the rear axle?
Yes, that is where it's mounted. And it's a transfer style tank. So we've already shipped some to the folks who could not wait.
Peter doing again. Richard, where are you mounting the fluffy dice on Growler?
It's nice that Peter's watching. Awesome. Yeah.
Are the new Jeeps aluminum or sheet metal?
There's a lot. The doors are aluminum. The tailgate is magnesium. It's actually cast. So, yeah, it's amazing what they had to do to get the weight out of that thing. Even the top is some kind of composite. It's not even fiberglass anymore.
Todd Steffen, when will we see Gladiator rear inner fenders?
Well, good timing. That's actually what we've been working on. That's why this one's here. Is we're making a matching one to the front. So, yep, we're working on that now. I think they got finished today.
We're caught up again.
Yeah? Nice. Nice. Jamie, anything else you want to mention on the Growler? I know you've got a few different companies that have helped you out, that you're working with, so. You did the 60 in the front, the VXR 60, right?
Yeah, 60 in the front, 70 in the rear. Like you mentioned, the R1 brakes, worn hubs. It's going to have a worn winch. Fast provided me with the coils and all the plug wires that are going to be on it. Comp cams gave me a cam for the motor. Obviously comp cams did the covers too, the valve covers. Cane and filter, all the fuel stuff is Aeromotive. And yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, but
Yeah, you did a Switch Pros. I see
yes, I did
HPS hose.
yeah, I
Right.
used HPS hose, K&N filters, both oil and air. Yeah, you mentioned the Alice transfer case, rugged radio and intercom, the Switch Pros deal, Odyssey batteries, and I'm super stoked on the dual air motive fuel pump thing. That'll
Yeah,
make it
that is cool.
easy.
And these look like the Summit Machine aluminum links.
Yes, they are Summit. It's hard to see right now.
They got the
but
mesh
yes,
on
they
them,
are
yeah.
Summit
Those
machine.
nice
aluminum
70,
links,
75 ones.
Yeah. So no, I'm just super excited. It's coming together.
And you even got the newer intercom that I did from Rugged. This is the Bluetooth one.
Yeah.
So your phone
Yeah.
connects without any cords. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you
and
can play
then-
your music and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then of course I got the Vision X rock lights, and there's going to be a Vision X. I think it's a 12-inch, 10-inch light bar on the front.
On the front, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
So yeah, I'm super stoked.
That's cool.
Shouldn't be too far off.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Thanks to Richard.
He's been busting his butt on it.
Yeah,
It's
he
awesome.
has. Yeah, it's good.
We're gonna have you at Jeep Night.
It's,
I
Okay.
think we have to push this thing. It's not that far.
It's not that far.
It's funny. It's like a child. You know, it takes a village to bring it to
It does.
adulthood. You know, so this thing's been like. So.
Yeah, especially since it's sort of a one-off.
Yeah, because you really didn't just bring it back. You like redid the
yeah.
whole thing.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I did was cut it in half.
Yeah.
So.
So. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll have another update.
Yeah, and you guys
very
put the
soon.
tranny cooler back here, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome.
There should
this
be a lot of
wheelbase.
progress in the
Yeah.
next week or so. So.
It looks a lot like Vine, but red. Yeah. Got square headlights.
Yeah,
Yep.
good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
Looks like you are all set up for seat heaters and everything, man. You're
Yeah.
styling.
Yeah, I am. I just got to work on the seats themselves.
Oh, we got maximum transmission.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Real drive lines.
Yeah, we just got the pan on, the maximum transmission.
And that's you went with a turbo 400.
Yes, a turbo 400 from Maximum, full manual, reverse valve body. We did have to change the pan to get the engine skid to fit because this is kind of a unique
Right, because it came with
build.
a deep pan.
Yes, it came with a deep pan.
So you just went back to the regular one.
So we had to do that, but yeah, and then JE Reel's working on the drive shafts. So once we get those, we can work on the exhaust.
And you're doing the ECU is Holly.
Yes.
Yes, the ECU is Holly.
So, and that's the Holly display.
Yeah, I think it's the HP EFI.
Cool.
So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, it's coming together.
Tony, any recommendations for a battery strap for your TJ Highline battery box?
So we used to make one that was really nice, extruded aluminum, but honestly, I just want something in there that's non-conductive. You know, there's a couple of nice ones I've seen at the auto parts store that are like pretty heavy-duty plastic with a couple of those J hooks, and that'll work. You know, it's just too easy to arc something out in there, so just keep that in mind.
How much does the tub need to be bent on an LJ to run both sides?
Not too
Not much.
bad.
You just
we
need
we
to
don't
like
have
bash
one.
in the pinch seam.
Yeah, it's the pin. So right below where the floor is, the body comes down a little bit past that. Can you see it at all, Jim?
No, you can't, because I made those cover things, so you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
really see it. But
And what about on these? Can you see it over here? No, can't see it on anything.
it's not much though.
But
Like all you need is
it's-
like a little deadbolt hammer or something.
Yeah, and it bends pretty easy. It's just the pinch seam between the side and the floor, and just bends back out of the way, and then you can get those on.
Bobby below me, how come you chose 78-inch rather than 72-inch axles?
So that has to do with how much backspace we can put on the wheel. So we were trying to get the Jeep as narrow as possible when you articulate without getting into the shocks. So that's what it's all about. So based on the travel, so Jamie's running 14s front and rear. So this thing will probably ramp like 1100. It'll flex pretty good. And yeah, it's just a matter of that function. So to that question, because I know I answered a similar question today for another customer on the phone. He was going to order 72-inch Dynatracks. Well, a Dynatrack can take a wheel that has another 1-inch backspace because of the way they shape their knuckle. So with a Dynatrack and a 6-inch backspace wheel instead of a 5, you'd actually be at the same track width. So depending on what your overall setup. It's really important for us to understand the whole setup. Everything you do on a Jeep is not just about bolting parts on. I can't tell you how many times I've met people at one of the events and they say, well, I have King shocks and mine doesn't work like yours. Well, you can't just take some random shock and bolt it onto your Jeep, without looking at the angles and where it's mounted and even what's inside. So it all makes a big difference.
Jim Farmer, what manufacturer is the aluminum radiator? Will it be able to cool an LS1 motor?
Yeah, so this one's a Griffin, and we have these on the website. There's a good selection of them. They come with their own shroud and fan straight from Griffin. So they're really nice, well made. I'm running something similar to this in the Terremoto. And when I had the LS, I had a built LS1 here before, and I had a radiator just like this that ran that. And again, what was important, I don't know if you heard it when we started the show, but keep the air from being able to get out. You got to force the air through there.
What gear ratio?
538 in the axles, and Jamie's running a 3-to-1 transfer case, and then the stock gears in the Turbo 400.
Ideal Odyssey battery for a 99 TJ.
Yeah, what about it?
What's the ideal battery for?
You'd actually on their website they give you it tells you what, but I think it's a Group 34 if I remember right. I get them confused because there's a Group 78 and a Group 34, but if you just want a stock replacement. Now, if you want to try and get something bigger, that's different. That is possible.
Dennis Sargent, what is the roll cage coated in?
That's Steal It. Yeah. So that's like one of those things that we do on the race cars because you can weld through it, unlike paint. But it will keep it from rusting.
Mike Sullivan, do you have to run a small diameter front drive shaft on your builds to clear the upper control arm mount?
We always do. Is that drive shaft still out here, Richard? Yeah, right here. So this is what we run. I'm going to say that's what, 2.25, 2.5. But this is thick wall. So this is one of those JE Real drive shafts that we were talking about. And you can see how the shank on the splined part is super thick. This is probably 30 or 40% bigger than an average drive shaft. So 2 1/8. Oh, okay. So just over 2-inch. And yeah, these are great. Super thick wall. You can see like I'm, nice, one of our old race car panels. Yeah, it's good stuff. And because a lot of the time when you go to the drive shaft shop, they want to build you, something like 2.5, 3-inch diameter. No way. I run those front and rear, but they're thick wall.
One of the last questions. Jason Adams, why did you pick the track width you run versus wider/narrower?
It has to do with just trails in general, right? So you got to remember that we sell to a wide variety of customers, right? So we've got people in the Northwest that want super narrow. They want those things really narrow. The other thing that I'm always being mindful of is that the width doesn't get too crazy, so we can get them on a standard trailer. So once you start going past like 83, you know, you're running over the fenders and it turns into this big giant mess, and customers usually aren't too happy about that. So, and then, you know, when you get in the open space, you know, you want to have it a little bit wider so you've got more stability. But if you get on, you know, a lot of the trails that have been beaten in over the years, they've been beaten in by much more narrow vehicles. So if you make them super wide, then your sidewalls are always scraping on everything. So, yeah, good question though.
Why 3.1 on the Atlas?
So we let the torque converter take up the difference, but when you drive, and that's actually a great question. I'm glad somebody finally asked this. When you drive a vehicle like this with good suspension and big tires, your definition of crawling or going slow is completely different. So you don't have to go that slow anymore. And actually, if you keep a steady pace, it's actually easier. It's easier on you, it's easier on the vehicle, and you can just kind of go over stuff and you don't worry about it. By the way, you can run more than one trail in one day, so that's pretty fun too. So.
That's it, and it's 5 o'clock.
Wow, all right. Well, everybody's wanted an update from over here, so it's great to show you around and show you what we got going on. We'll be making a lot of progress over here considering all of these vehicles have places to go in the next few weeks. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you on Thursday.